So, this is day 79, and we're reading through Joshua, and I'm starting at chapter 12. These are the kings east of the Jordan River who had been killed by the Israelites and whose land was taken. Their territory extended from the Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon and included all the land east of the Jordan Valley. King Sihon of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon, was defeated. His kingdom included Aruah on the edge of the Arnon Gorge and extended from the middle of the Arnon Gorge to the Jabbok River, which serves as a border for the Ammonites. This territory included the southern half of the territory of Gilead. Sihon also controlled the Jordan Valley and regions to the east, from as far north as the Sea of Galilee and far south as the Dead Sea, including road to Beth Jeshimoth and southward to the slopes of Pisgah. King Og of Bashan, the last of the Rephatites, lived at Ashtaroth and Edrei. He ruled a territory stretching from Mount Hermon to Salakah in the north and to all the Bashan in the east, the westward to the borders of the kingdoms of Jeshua and Makkah. This territory included the northern half of Gilead as far as the boundary of King Sihon of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the Israelites had destroyed the people of King Sihon and King Og. And Moses gave their land as a possession to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. The following is the list of kings that Joshua and the Israelite armies defeated on the west side of the Jordan, from Bolgad in the valley of Lebanon to Mount Halak, which leads up to Seir. Joshua gave this land to the tribes of Israel as their possession, including the hill country, the western foothills, the Jordan Valley. It's not Jordan, Gordon. Jordan. The mountain slopes, the Judean wilderness, and the Negev. The people who lived in this region were the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. These are the kings Israel defeated: the king of Jericho, the king of Ai near Bethel, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, the king of Gezer, the king of Dibber, the king of Jeddah, the king of Hormah, the king of Arad, the king of Libnah, the king of Adullam, the king of Medekah, the king of Bethel, the king of Taphal, the king of Hepher, the king of Aphek, the king of Lashron, the king of Madon, the king of Hazar, the king of Shimron Emaron, the king of Ashkapuf, the king of Tarnash, the king of Medigo, the king of Kadesh, the king of Jokneam in Carmel, the king of Dor in the town of Nephoth Dor, the king of Goyim in Gilgal, the king of Tiraz. In all, 31 kings were defeated. Chapter 13. I'm just going to change the translation. Just having a look. I'm going to go to the NIV. So this is chapter 13. When Joshua had grown old, the Lord said to him, "You are now very old, and there are still very large areas of land to be taken over. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines and Geshurites, from the Sihor River in the east of Egypt to the territory of Ekron on the north, all of it counted as Canaanite, though held by the 5 Philistine rulers in Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron, the territory of the Avites on the south, and the land of the Canaanites from Arah of the Sidonians as far as Athek and the border of the Amorites, the area of Bibios, all Lebanon to the east, from Baal Gad below Mount Hermon to Lebo Hamath. As for all the inhabitants of the mountain regions, from Lebanon to Misrothmaim, that is, all the Sidonians, I myself will drive them out before the Israelites. Be sure to allocate this land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have instructed you, and divide it as an inheritance among the 9 tribes and half the tribe of Manasseh." Mum's just calling, so I'll just have to pause it. Okay, hold on. I'm back. The other half of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites, had received the inheritance that Moses had given them east of the Jordan, as he, the servant of the Lord, had assigned it to them. It extended from Aor on the rim of the Aran Gorge and from the town in the middle of the gorge, which included the whole plateau of Medeba as far as Dibon, and all the towns of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, out of the border of the Ammonites. It is also included. It also included Gilead, the territory of the people of Geshur and Makkah, all of the Mount Hermon and all Bashan, as far as Salakah, that is, the whole kingdom of Og in Bashan, who had reigned in Ashtaroth and Edrei. He was the last of the Rephaites. Moses had defeated them and taken over their land, but the Israelites did not drive out the people from Geshur and Makkah, so they continue to live among the Israelites to this day. But the tribe of Levi, he gave no inheritance. But to the tribe of Levi he gave no inheritance, since the food offerings presented to the Lord, the God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he promised them. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Reuben, according to its clans: the territory from Aor to the rim of Aran Gorge, and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and the whole plateau of Medeba, to Heshbon and its towns on the plateau, including Dibon, Bamophal, Bethbaal Meon, Gahaz, Kedemoth, Mepphah, Kerameth, Sibmah, Zereth, Shara on the hill in the valley, Beth Peor, the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jishmoth, all the towns on the plateau, and the entire realm of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled at Heshbon. Moses had defeated him and the Midianite chiefs. I was going to say chefs. Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, princes allied with Sihon, who lived in that country. In addition to those slain in battle, the Israelites had put to the sword Balaam, son of Beor, who practiced divination. The boundary of the Reubenites was the bank of the Jordan. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Reubenites according to their clans. Not clowns, clans. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Gad according to its clans: the territory of Jazer in the towns of Gilead, and half the Ammonite country as far as Aor near Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramoth, Mizpah, and Betonim, and from Menamim to the territory of Debir, and in the valley Beth Haram, Beth Nimram, Succoth, and Sethlon, with the rest of the realm of the Sihon king of Heshbon, the east side of Jordan, the territory up to the end of the Sea of Galilee. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Gadites, according to their clans. This is what Moses had given to the half tribe Manasseh, that is, to half the family of the descendants of Manasseh, according to its clans: the territory extending from Mahanaim and including all of Bashan, the entire realm of Og, king of Bashan, all the settlements of Jair in Bashan, 60 towns, half of Gilead, and Ashtaroth and Edrei, the royal cities of Og in Bashan. This was for the descendants of Micah, son of Manasseh, for half of the sons of Mecca, according to their clans. This is the inheritance Moses had given when he was in the plains of Moab, across the Jordan east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses had given no inheritance. The Lord, the God of Israel, is their inheritance, as he promised them. I'm going to choose another Bible version now. I'm going to go to the Passion Translation for Joshua chapter 14. Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the Israelite tribal leaders divided the land west of the Jordan among the people of Israel as their inheritance. By drawing lots, Eleazar assigned territory to the 9.5 tribes, as Yahweh had commanded Moses. The descendants of Joseph were divided into 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Moses had already granted land east of the Jordan, but the tribe of Levi did not receive land as their inheritance. However, they were assigned cities in which to live and pasture lands for their property and livestock. So the Israelites divided the land as Yahweh had commanded Moses. One day, while Israel was encamped in Gilgal, the people of Judah approached Joshua, including Caleb, son of Jephunneh, from the Kenizzite clan. Caleb said to Joshua, "Remember what Yahweh said to Moses about you and me while we were still in Kadesh Barnea? I was 40 years old when Moses, Yahweh's servant, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land of Canaan. And I brought back an honest and accurate report. I've been faithful and obedient to Yahweh, my God. But my fellow spies who were with me only discouraged the people and made their hearts shrink back with fear. On that day, Moses made an oath and promised me, every part of the land your feet tread upon shall be an inheritance for you and your descendants forever, because you are loyal to Yahweh my God. So here I am. It's been 45 years since Yahweh made this promise to Moses. When Israel journeyed through the wilderness, Yahweh has preserved me, an 85-year-old man to this day. I am still as strong today as I was on the day when Moses sent me out. I am just as fit to go out to battle now as I was then. Now give me the hill country that Yahweh promised me on that day. You yourself were there and heard the report that the Anakim lived there in strong and fortified cities. I know that with the power of Yahweh helping me, I will drive them out, just as Yahweh said. Joshua spoke God's blessing over Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave him Hebron as his inheritance. So Hebron has belonged to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, ever since, because he passionately followed Yahweh, the God of Israel. Hebron used to be called the city of Arba, after Arba, the most famous of all Anakim. Then the land was free of war. Luke chapter 12. We're staying in the Passion Translation. By now, a crowd of many thousands had gathered around Jesus. So many people pushed to be near him, they began to trample one another. Jesus turned to his disciples and warned them, beware of the hypocrisy of Pharisees. It permeates everything they do and teach, like leaven. Everything hidden and covered up will soon be exposed, for the facade is falling down, and nothing will be kept secret for long. Whatever you have spoken in private will be public knowledge, and what you have whispered secretly behind closed doors will be broadcast far and wide for all to hear. Listen, my beloved friends, don't fear those who may want to take your life but can do nothing more. It's true that they may kill your body, but they have no power over your soul. The one you must fear is God, for he has both the power to take your life and the authority to cast your soul into hell. Yes, the only one you need to fear is God. What is the value of your soul to God? Could your worth be defined by any amount of money? God doesn't abandon or forget even the small sparrow he has made. Then how could he forget or abandon you? What about the seemingly minor issues in your life? Do they matter to God? Of course they do. So you will never need to worry, for you are more valuable to God than anything else in this world. I can assure you of this. If you freely declare in public that I am the Son of Man, the Messiah, then I will freely declare to all the angels of God that you are mine. But if you publicly pretend that you don't know me, I will deny you before the angels of God. If anyone speaks evil of me, the Son of Man, that one can be forgiven. But if anyone speaks scornfully against the Holy Spirit, it will never be forgiven. And remember this, when people publicly accuse you and forcefully drag you before the religious leaders and authorities, do not be troubled. Don't worry about defending yourself or how to answer their accusations. Simply be confident and allow the spirit of wisdom access to your heart. And in that very moment, he will reveal what you are to say to them. Just then, someone spoke from the crowd and said, Master, you should compel my older brother to divide the family inheritance and give me my fair share. Jesus answered, my friend, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you? Speaking to the people, Jesus continued, be alert and guard your heart from greed and from always wishing for what you don't have, for your life can never be measured by the amount of things you possess. Then Jesus gave them this illustration. A wealthy landowner had a farm that produced bumper crops. Every year, the harvest was so great it filled his barns overflowing. He thought, what should I do now that every barn is full and I have nowhere else to store more? I know what I'll do. I'll tear down the barns and build one massive barn and hold all my grain and goods. Then I can just sit back, surrounded with the comfort and ease, and I'll enjoy life with no worries at all. God said to him, what a fool you are to trust in your riches and not in me. And this very night, the messengers of death will demand to take your life. Then who will get all the wealth that you have stored up for yourself? The same thing will happen to all those who fill their lives up with everything but God. Jesus taught his disciples, saying, listen to me. Never let anxiety enter your hearts. Never worry about any of your needs, such as food or clothing, for your life is infinitely more than just food or the clothing you wear. Take the carefree birds as your example. Do you ever see them worry? They never grow from their own. They never grow their own food, nor put in a storehouse for later. Yet God takes care of every one of them, feeding each of them out of the abundance of his love and goodness. Isn't your life more precious to God than a bird? Be carefree in the care of God. Does worry add anything to your life? Can it add one more year or even one day? So, if worry adds nothing but actually subtracts from your life, why would you worry about God's care for you? Think about the lilies. That's the flower, not the daughter. They grow and become beautiful. Well, yeah, she's doing that too. Not because they work hard or strive to clothe themselves. Not even Solomon, wearing his kingly garments of splendor, could be compared to the field of lilies. If God can clothe the fields and meadows with grass and flowers, can he not clothe you as well? Oh, struggling one with so many doubts. I repeat, don't let worry enter your life. Live above anxious cares about your personal needs. People everywhere seem to worry about making a living, but your Heavenly Father knows your every need and will take care of you. As you passionately seek his kingdom above all else, he will supply your needs. So don't ever be afraid, dearest friends. Your loving God joyously gives you his kingdom with all its promises. Now go and sell what you have and give to those in need. You will be making deposits in your account in heaven, an account that will never be taken from you. Your gifts will become secure and unfailing treasure, deposited in heaven forever. Where you deposit your treasure, that is where you fix your thoughts, and your heart will long also to be there. Be prepared for action at a moment's notice. Be like servants anticipating their master's return from a wedding celebration. They are ready at a moment's notice to unlock and open the door for him. And what great joy is ahead of those who stay awake and wait for the master's return. He himself will become their servant and wait on them. He may appear at midnight or even later, but what great joy for the awakened ones whenever he comes. Of course, if they knew ahead of time the hour of their master's appearing, they would be alert, just as they would be ready if they knew ahead of time that the thief was coming to break into their house. So keep being alert and ready at all times, for I promise you that the Son of Man will surprise you and appear when you don't expect him. Lord, Peter asked, does this apply only to the 12 of us, or is it for everyone else as well? The Lord replied, a master will delegate authority in his house to a trustworthy and thoughtful manager who understands his master's desires. The household manager will serve others what they need at exactly the right time. Whenever his master returns, he will find that his servant has served him well. I promise you, the master will reward him generously, and he will be placed as an overseer of everything he owns. But what if the servant says in his heart, my master delays his coming, and who knows when he will return? Because of the delay, the servant elevates himself and mistreats those in his master's household. Instead of caring for the ones he was appointed to serve, he abuses the other servants, both men and women. He throws drunken parties for his friends and gives himself over to every pleasure. Let me tell you what will happen to him. His master will suddenly return at a time that shocks him, and he will remove the abusive, selfish servant from his position of trust. The master will punish him and assign him a portion with the unbelievers. Every servant who knows what pleases his master, yet does not make himself ready and refuses to put his master's will into action, will receive many punishing blows. Every servant who does not know his master's will and unwittingly does what is wrong will receive a less severe punishment. For those who have received a greater revelation from the master required a greater obedience, and those who have been entrusted with a great responsibility will be held more responsible to their master. A little bit like Spider-Man. I have come to set the earth on fire, and how I wish it were already ablaze with fiery passion for God. But first I must be immersed into the baptism of God's judgment, and I am consumed with passion as I await its fulfillment. Don't think for a moment that I came to grant peace and harmony to everyone. No, my arrival will change everything and create hostility among you. From now on, even family members will be divided over me and will choose sides, one against another. Fathers will be divided from sons, and sons from fathers. Mothers will be divided from their daughters, and daughters from their mothers. Mothers-in-law will be against brides, and brides against mother-in-law, all because of me. Jesus then said to the crowds gathered around him, when you see a cloud forming in the west, don't you say the storm is brewing, and then it arrives. And when you feel the south wind blowing, you say a heat wave is on its way, and so it happens. What hypocrites! You are such experts at forecasting the weather, but you are totally unwilling to understand the spiritual significance of the time you're living in. You can't even judge for yourselves what is good and right. When you are guilty of wrongdoing, it is better to agree with your adversary and settle your dispute before you have to go before a judge. If not, your adversary may drag you into court and the judge may find you guilty and throw you into prison until you have paid off your fine entirely. That is all for today.